I know where there's some, right here in the hall, clerk.
No, Molly, not in there. I have
I have the 4 lines, 4 capacitors, 4 lines coming out of the capacitor block. So I have those labeled here so I don't lose track of them. So I'll begin to desolder them from the 4 points, and then we'll lift this box out of here and see what it looks like. Okay, I have all the wires loose. Now it's time to pull the box out of there. 2 quarter nut machine screws. One there and one there. Okay, there we go. I presume this is a block of wax. I'm going to pull these tabs back and we'll take a look, see if I can get this paper out. Screwdriver. Well, that was nice. This is the little ground wire that attaches the negative leads of the capacitors, or common lead of the capacitor to ground via this box. There's the Philco part number. All right. Very nice. I don't have to melt anything in particular. We can reuse that paper. I'll just cut all these leads off and reuse them when I assemble the new capacitor package. Cool. Okay, of course I don't have a 0.09 and another 0.09 and a 0.05 and a 0.5 like they call out in the schematic, but I do have a 104, a couple of 104s, and 104s are 0.1. So rounding up from 0.09 is 0.1, and I've got a couple of those here. I've got a 0.047 to sit in for the 0.05. That'll be close enough. And then I have a 474 here, which is a 0.47 microfarad caps. So these are the caps I'll use to replace these guys here. Now I want to make sure that they're going to the right place. So one of the point ones, these guys will go in the A position. That's from ground to pin 3 of the 6A7. Let's see if I label these appropriately. 6A7 pin 3. So I know this wire I have to hook up to one of those, and I'll go through that process again where I've labeled the wires and where they're going. I'll wire these all up, and we'll see what I can do to make them, put them into some kind of structure so that they hold together inside the can without rattling around too much and without touching anything they shouldn't touch. So that's the goal. I'll start soldering these together, and then I'll show you, bring them back when I've got this package replicated, so to speak. Okay, here's what I came up with. I got all the capacitors in place, wired up to the appropriate wires. Here's the common lead coming out here that'll attach to the small wire that goes to the can itself. What I'm going to do is hot glue these into this little cardboard box I made. I'll hot glue those in there, and then they'll sit in the box behind this black piece. I might put this back in just for some authenticity, but that should work. I guess we'll see. Yeah, it'll sit up inside the can. The glue will keep them from rattling around, if rattling around is a problem. And we'll see how it goes. All right, there it is. Labels all came out okay. What I will do is check real quick and make sure I've got the capacitors that I think I have. But after that, and I'll just use my meter as capacitor tester for that. I'll go from the box to each lead and make sure that the reading is what I expect to see on the schematic. But I think if that's okay, we're done with this part. Doesn't look too bad. It'll be all right. Okay, it checks out just fine. We'll put it back. The can has a bend right here, and it's mostly to clear the rectifier tube. You certainly don't want the rectifier tube to be shorted against the edge of this can. That sounds like it might be a bit catastrophic. Okay, let's see if I can get this put back together the way it came out. Start by moving this wire back over here. And there we have it, back where it belongs. I've heard that the way Philco dressed the cables and such, I mean, there's a lot of wire running from this fine-tuning cap over to the band switch. And I've heard that it matters how you dress it. But boy, I think it's well, we'll see. We'll see if we get any strange squeals or hums or anything else. I will go ahead and pull those orange tags off, and we'll hook it back up and see if we made it any worse or any better. Okay, I have it powered up. Got the speaker cobbled in here. A long wire, I guess I'd call that a long wire, about a 15-foot wire hanging off the antenna. I do have it the chassis connected to earth ground here, even though the power is still in isolation. And by the way, when you do that, you defeat all of the isolation transformer stuff, just for you to know. And the radio seems to be working a little better, actually, than it was before we replaced the caps in that 10 box. So let's see what we can pick up here.
And I think that the moans and groans of investors really help. Who actually resigned recently for the Fifth Circuit. Judge Ho resigned.
Biking to work with a reusable coffee cup.
6 of the most amazing albums of all time. And yes, I am a music snob.
Yeah, I know you are. That's why I hesitate to talk about music as well. I don't want to offend Jason's sensibility.
I'll judge you. Yeah, I'll judge you.
Offending. He's just very, very negative person. It's like talking Star
Tones
Wars, right?
works.
You know, like, well, I like that movie. He's all it's crap.
Talk radio. I could do without it, to be frank. All right. I think the radio is functioning. I will, I think, run through an alignment in a upcoming video, because alignment on these is a little odd. It's mostly odd because of all this business in the back here. All of these fine tuners back here. But I think a little bit of alignment wouldn't hurt. I think in terms of what it's picking up, and the volume is grand. Sensitivity for a 12-foot wire is pretty good. I think we're ready to put the fuse and the dropping resistor and the CL90 in here. And that'll be up next.
The makers of Johnson's Wax